Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Thank you for listening. Before I get into today's episode, if you're a dad, you're listening to this right now, if you're not happy with some aspect of your health or fitness, maybe you want to lose a few pounds, maybe you're struggling with motivation during all these shutdowns, maybe your diet has gone to shit, I invite you to join or at least apply to our free private Facebook group. There's about 800 guys in there right now, 800 dads working together, kind of with the same mission, right? To live healthier, get on a set routine, maybe drop a few pounds, look a little bit better, work on our confidence, right? Those are things that we do inside the Fit Dad Base Camp. That's our free group. You can apply to join us, fitdadnation.com/community. You know, I've talked about this for the past few weeks. Obviously, everything's still shut down. This COVID-19 thing has just wreaked havoc on everybody everywhere. Gyms are still closed. It's just been a mess. And so we're having to turn to our houses to work out, right? Or if we don't have a home gym, we've got to figure out ways to work out. I'm seeing a couple different things. One is guys using this as an excuse to be lazy, right? We get thrown off our routine and everything goes to hell. Well, I don't have a gym. Well, I don't have access to all these healthy foods, organic foods I was eating, or whatever. There's a million excuses. Some of us, and I'm not judging because I'm struggling with the same things, right? I have allowed my diet to get a little bit out of control. I've slacked off on my workouts because I don't have the regularity of a gym. You know, the other side of it is guys are trying to figure out how to work out at home. Maybe you have a home gym, maybe you have some resistance bands, whatever it is. But today I want to talk about some mistakes that you're making at home that are hindering your results, hindering your progress. So this is under the assumption that you're working out, or at least you want to work out at home. Again, we don't know how long this is going to last. Hopefully gyms will start opening up, pretty soon. But, we don't really know for sure. So the first thing I'll tell you is stop using excuses to stay unfit, or a better way of saying it is stop being lazy, right? Stop using excuses to be lazy, all right? I don't care if you have a full gym in your garage like I do, or you have nothing. Everything that you need to maintain or get fitter is already in your house, okay? Unless you're an elite athlete, you're a CrossFitter, you need a bunch of heavy weights, you're going to be just fine. So this show isn't geared towards those guys anyway. This is geared towards the average dad who's just trying to get back on track, looking for some consistency, looking for some ideas, maybe a program to follow. So everything in your house that you have, you have access to everything. So I've got a couple of videos on this, but if you have stairs in your house, you just found about 10 exercises at least. If you have doorways in your house, another 10. Okay, chairs, tables, any kind of heavy item. Let's call it like those 5-gallon water jugs. I have a couple of videos doing a bunch of workouts and a bunch of exercises using those Deer Park heavy. I think they're like 45 pounds water jugs we get delivered, right? You have tennis balls, you have resistance bands, you might have a sandbag. You have to get creative, first of all, right? But even if you have none of those things I just mentioned, right? You have a dining room table and chairs, right? You definitely have a doorway, at least your front door, right? Of course. You just have to do a little bit of research, do a little bit of digging, and get creative. And seriously, you could do a full body workout every single day using just what you have access to in your house, and you're just walking by it or walking up and down it every single day. So that's number one, is just don't say because you don't have access to a gym or you don't have a home gym that you can't do it, because I promise you can. Next, I'll tell you, set up a training schedule. So if your goal is to train and you're trying to train or you are training, get yourself on a schedule. Set it up literally on your phone, on your paper, however you keep your schedule. I do mine on my phone. But set it up just like you did before. We're all right. We're going to do 3 days of strength training, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, we're going to do cardio. Okay, put it on this calendar, put it down. Because just remember, regardless of what you're doing, how you're doing it, consistency is the key. And seriously, that's the kind of the magic pill to all this. Although, we all know there's no real magic pill, but if there was one, it would be just being extremely consistent, like mind-numbingly boring, consistent with your training. Just stick with it. Okay. Of course, there's a lot of variables. You have to mix it up, and you have to challenge your body consistently. But consistency is the absolute key. Number 3. Pick an uncomfortable room to train in. So if you're training in your living room, you're training in a room that has a television, that has a nice comfortable couch, there's probably a good chance that you're going to get distracted or thrown off if you're in with your kids and they're running around, especially if you have little ones. It'd be very difficult for you to stay motivated for the whole workout, right? There's too many things going on. It's not an environment conducive to training your ass off, which is what we have to do, right? Intensity is extremely important when you're training. You have to push yourself every workout, right? So just keep that in mind. So find a room that you're going to be uncomfortable in. So whether it's an unfinished basement, maybe it's a cold or hot garage, with bare bones, nothing in it, that's probably your best option, right? I train in my garage. It's hot in the winter. It's cold in the winter, hot in the summer. There's no insulation, but I like it that way, right? There's no mirrors, nothing fancy. It's kind of dark, but it's conducive. I turn up the music, I put on some Slayer super loud, and I get to work. But if I try to do it upstairs where everything is soft and cush, a nice soft carpet, and it's not going to have the same effect. So try to find a room. I don't care if it's just a spare room, nothing in it at all. Put your music on, get to work. 4th point I want to talk about is doing the same workouts over and over. So, a lot of us are creatures of habit, myself included. I don't think that we need to mix up our workouts every single time. I think that's overkill. It's unnecessary. But stop doing the same exact things, right? If you like 5 or 6 different exercises and you always use them every time, right, your body is going to adapt. It's going to stop progressing. You're going to stop seeing results because you're using the same ones. You have to get creative with stuff, okay? Again, this comes back to just doing a little homework, figuring out maybe some alternatives. I shot a video on 33 different push-up variations. So if you're doing push-ups as part of your program, there's a million ways to slice those. There's a million ways to make them harder or easier. Same with squats or lunges or whatever you call it. Anything. So stop doing the same stuff over and over. Okay. As part of the Inner Circle program, that's our private membership program. We've got a ton of home workouts in there to kind of spark that creative juice and give you some ideas. Next up, and this is one I see quite a bit too, especially with guys that are former athletes, just trying to overdo it. This isn't just necessarily for home workouts, but a lot of us are kind of relegated to body weight training. A lot of you listening don't have weights at home, so you are using just body weight stuff. Okay, just remember, body weight exercises aren't necessarily easier than free weights. You might think they are. Oh, there's no weights, I can't get hurt. That's wrong. You can get hurt, right? Take a pull-up, for example, right? A lot of guys don't have the proper strength to do a real pull-up, a good pull-up, right? We can do sloppy ones. We can throw our shoulders out, use other body parts to wiggle and get ourselves up. But the idea is, don't try to kill yourself to do a pull-up, okay? Just remember, doing a ton of body weight jump lunges or a ton of body weight jump squats, anything like that can be taxing on your joints, tough on your knees, your ankles, your hips, right? My point is with all this is saying, just because you don't have a bunch of heavy weights you think that could be a risk, don't just go all out, especially if you haven't been super active. If you've been a couch potato for the last 4 years and you're going to jump into the Insanity program, that Sean T program that he used to have, where it's just conditioning workout like crazy, all body weight stuff, doing mountain climbers and flying burpees and all kinds of shit, right? You're going to kill yourself doing that. So don't think that I can handle it. I used to be an athlete. I am carrying about 30 extra pounds, but I'll be fine. I can do this. easy way to get hurt. Absolutely can get hurt. I myself pulled something, it's some kind of crazy sports hernia that's really deep down in my groin that I did on a treadmill. I know there's no weights. I'm just running on a treadmill, and I'm already, pretty fit, so it doesn't take much. Just keep that in mind. Okay? My next point is, and this is a big one, again, a lot of guys love to get crazy with high-intensity workouts. Maybe it's the buzzword that they think, high-intensity training, interval training, metabolic conditioning, whatever you want to call it, right? That has a place, absolutely has a place for burning calories, boosting up your metabolism a little bit. Absolutely part of the program, but your focus, and I don't care if your goal is fat loss or weight gain, your goal should always be lean muscle tissue gain, right? Because the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism is. That's how it works. So, your number one goal is always strength training. That's where you're going to build that lean muscle, right? You have to have your diet in order. Of course, you have to be eating enough protein, right? But you have to be strength training progressively, meaning breaking down your muscles, making them bigger and stronger through strength training. So that should be the focus. So if you're not focusing on strength training, absolutely make that your priority. Conditioning / cardio, whatever you want to call it, comes second. That's supplementary. So at least 3 days a week, 3-4 days is plenty. You can split it up however you want. There's no right way or wrong way to do it unless you're really advanced. Then you can really break it down into multiple splits. But I do total body workouts all the time. Or sometimes I'll split them up upper and lower. Or, if you want to go crazy, split it up to back and bis, chest and tris, legs and shoulders. I did that for years, right? But really, for most people, and for a lot of guys listening that are just getting back into it, a full body routine is fine. A handful of compound exercises, meaning multiple joints, multiple muscles are being used. Make that the priority. And then on your off days, 1 to maybe even 3 days a week, then you throw in your supplementary conditioning work, whether it's an AMRAP, some kind of time circuit, a Tabata circuit, whatever it is. There's a million ways to do it, but that comes second. So make strength training a priority. All right. Next point is skipping body parts because you don't know how to train them at home, right? Because if you don't have a bar, like a pull-up bar, which most people don't, you're going to think, well, how do I do pull-ups? I don't have a lat pull-down machine in my house. I don't have a pull-up bar. Or how am I supposed to work my back? Okay, that's probably the biggest overlooked exercise. I mean, you can do squats, right? You can do push-ups. It's a little bit harder to figure out how to do shoulders. You can lift up, milk jugs or different things like that. You can kind of get creative. A back is a little bit harder, but in my opinion, probably the most overlooked and the most important, because for most guys, we do way more pushing than pulling, and that creates imbalances. And especially if you're a guy that is more interested in show muscles, which are your pecs, your chest, obviously your abs and your biceps and maybe your shoulders, right? That's all front stuff. You're pushing forward, right? You're not pulling. And I've always believed, and this is how I do my own training, is I do kind of a 2-to-1, which is I pull twice as much as I push. And you'd be surprised at how well your physique will change if you do that. A big, broad back, a strong back will open up your chest and make you look broader across, and just you're going to look better aesthetically too, aside from cleaning up your posture and being stronger as well. But you don't need a pull-up bar. You don't need a pull-down machine, right? I have a video on this. Just using a couple of, I used 2 chairs from my dining room, and I threw because it was winter when I shot this, it was cold. I put a shovel, laid it across. I laid on the ground, I reached up and grabbed the shovel, and I did inverted rows, which, you're kind of laying on your back, you're in that horizontal position, you're just rowing up, right? I'm not doing a pull up, but that's okay. We don't need to do pull-ups necessarily. A lot of us don't even have the strength to do more than 1 or 2. So an alternative is a better choice anyway. So an inverted row is perfect. You can use a broom handle, okay? If you have a table, we all have dinner tables, right? Get on the underside of it, right? Flip your hands over and do an inverted row that way, okay? I bet you if you walked around your house right now, you could find 1 or 2 or 3 things or more that you could actually row up from. And that's probably your best way to do it. You could do it through a doorway. I've seen that. It's a little more challenging, but there are ways to get creative to do your back, so please don't overlook that. Right? And lastly, I'll say that with all this, because we're isolated, I know we're with our families a lot, but we're away from our tribe, we're away from our friends, we're away from our gym buddies or whatever. We're not being held accountable, right? And we, and I'm speaking for the American public, and don't take offense, but it's my belief that we're inherently lazy. It's a very lazy and entitled country. I absolutely believe that, and I think that when given the choice, most, but not all of us, of course, will choose the path of least resistance. And that includes finding time fillers, things that take away from the things that you need to do. So if you need to be training hard, but you're like, oh shit, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do because I don't really have any equipment and I don't know how to work out, you're going to find a million things to fill your time. They're going to just, oh, wait a minute, it's 9:30 at night now. I can't work out. It's too late. So find an accountability person, partner, group, challenge, whatever it is. I don't care. But one of the main things of why our groups and our Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle is so successful is because exactly that, the accountability piece. We hold the men accountable. Like every month we do challenges. Oftentimes we track points, track weights, we track stats on a shared document where you're accountable, right? We do before and after photos. You're accountable to the group, okay? There's no judgment. It's all about showing up, putting in the work, and having guys there with you. Right now we have around 50 guys in our Inner Circle program that are in the middle of, we've got a couple different challenges happening right now. But yeah, it's all based on accountability. If you're not showing up, if you're slacking, we know it. I know it as your coach, and I'm going to call you out on it. And you need that. And you don't have to necessarily join a group, but if you have a buddy, you have somebody that cares enough about you to hold you accountable to say, to what you say you want, you have to use that because it's way too easy, right? It's just way too easy to say, you know what, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's happening. I mean, I see it all the time. I mean, I've been doing it myself, and so I know that it's happening out there. Find a way to get accountable. I don't care what you do. Sure, I'd love to have you as part of our group. If your dad is struggling, I'd love to have you as part of the Inner Circle or one of our free groups. But whatever floats your boat, find it and use it. Okay. So again, these are just 8 things I just listed out 8 things that seriously could be holding you back from your home workouts. Right. There's no reason you can't absolutely kill it. Yes, we didn't talk about diet right now. That's okay. I have other shows on that. Of course, diet plays a part in this, but today I just really wanted to talk about workouts, specifically at-home workouts. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, you can always email me at steve@fitdadnation.com, and please check out what we're doing. fitdadnation.com/inner circle will tell you all about our private program. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.